Welcome back. Thank you for joining us again today. And by popular demand, we have Neillie Butler again today with her remarkable journey of survival, overcoming, and pressing forward into life. Neillie, people just cannot get enough of your amazing story. Thank you for being with us. You just had so many things that hit so hard, and then they come back around in life in some way. You know, you talked about, I think it was the second battle with cancer and all the radiation. You went through radiation for 7 weeks, right? And they said that your ovaries would be safe, and then you find out they've been frying your ovaries. You probably won't ever have children. Your mom is devastated. And then you got a miracle.
I did. He's a miracle. He's perfect. So I had these 2 girls. I was driving carpools, doing cheerleading, having friends over. So I was essentially being a mom. And I was loving my husband really hard and loving his children the hardest I could, you know. And I was like, you know, I really think I want a child of my own if this is the life we're going to live. Like, I think I want my own. And Tom was like, I don't know if you got the memo, but last I heard, you can't have children. I said, no, but we've never even tried or talked about it or anything. It's just been told I'm not going to have children. And so, like, can I not at least, like, explore the opportunity? And he was like, yes, but we can't afford, and we can't afford to do this. Like, if you can't get pregnant, you're not going to be able to get pregnant. Like, I can't afford to do it any other way. Like, and sure enough, like, I have this miracle. Like, I got
10-year-old
Bruce. Bruce is perfect. He's not really, but you know,
I do know.
He's sweet and he's fun, and he's the baby boy that the sisters wanted so bad.
And there's also another incredible sidebar to this. You had been in chronic pain since you had cancer, way back when you were, I guess 22 was the last time, and you'd experienced chronic pain every single day of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And then something just extraordinary, I want to say miraculous, happened with the pregnancy hormones.
And that was pain-free.
And you were pain-free.
I don't know everyone, all my doctors were like, do not get pregnant. This is the worst decision ever. And I got pregnant. And they're like, oh gosh, you're not going to carry the baby. There's no way your body's going to be able to hold this baby. And then they're like, you're never going to be able to walk with this baby. And I walked fine. But I had this chronic pain. And Tom would wake up every single night in the middle of the night and like rub my back down with this creams and things to like try and take some of this pain away. Because I couldn't like take pain medication. You can't take pain medication for a lifetime. But the pain was like really bad. And I just didn't have time for that. I don't have time for pain. And so I just dealt with it. And I would go to physical therapy throughout the weeks and things. But the pain was bad. Like, it was pretty terrible. And then I get pregnant and I haven't been in pain since.
It's truly miraculous.
Yeah. So I always tell him, like, thanks so much. You have no idea what you did for me. But, yeah, and it's been such a joy to be his mom. But it also, like, tied our whole family together so well and so beautifully. Like, it's been a great addition.
I love that.
I always thought, like, okay, I can't be a mom because of cancer. But then I got married and wasn't happy in the marriage, and the marriage fell apart. So I was like, well, I'm not going to be a mom because marriage has ended at 26. Oh, well, now I'm in love with a man who literally has nothing but a plaid red shirt. That's it. He's giving everything he's got away. And he has these 2 girls. And so I can't have a baby because we don't have the funds to even take care of the 2 that we've got, much less bring another person into this life. So I wasn't going to get to be a mom. That just wasn't I felt like a lot of my life, that just wasn't the cards I was dealt.
Where do you put that though?
On a shelf.
And don't think about it.
And don't think about it until I turn 43, and then I deal with it.
Every Monday morning at 11 o'clock.
Every Monday morning at 11 o'clock.
I love how you said, I'm working on that. Every Monday morning at 11 o'clock. I love that. Mine is Thursday afternoons at 4.
Yeah, I mean, just is what it is. It's great.
Yeah.
But I think that, like, if you kind of look at the whole story, like, I'm fine. I'm fine. I just wasn't given that opportunity. Okay, I'm fine. I wasn't given the opportunity to be smart enough to be a class president. I'm fine. Okay, well, I wasn't given the opportunity to really have a college experience because I was sick, but I'm fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's just kind of,
really?
but no, looking back on it, no, I probably
I
wasn't.
mean, you couldn't have been.
No, but I never stopped surviving, and I never stopped fighting, and I never stopped long enough. I never had enough of a gap in life to like ever really realize that I probably wasn't fine, and I probably did want a real college career. Like when my friends talk about, oh, did you go to Alabama with me? And I'm like, yeah, but I don't really remember you because I didn't make any friends because I was always at the hospital. You know, like I'm like, I didn't get to go to college really. Like, and now looking back on it, but I'm fine. Those are not the cards I was dealt. And I'm really good with dealing with the cards that I'm dealt.
You told me something once I found fascinating. You said at this point in your life, sometimes you look at yourself and go, I don't know who this person is. And then you said, and I would love for you to elaborate on this. You said you look at yourself and you say, there are 3 Neillies.
Mm-hmm.
Take me from there.
So there's 3 Neillies. There's the really powerful, strong-willed, driven, successful business owner, Neillie. And then there's the personal Neillie that has like hurt and like tragedy and sadness and like obstacles, complexity, but deeply like satisfied too in so many ways, right? And then there's the Neillie that like I want to be, that's like finding a place to push those two together. Like I've got to find that, because my personal drives my work and drives my success. But then there's parts of like work and success and all the things that like it's all one. It's hard to keep them compartmentalized.
Yeah, and it feels like, because you haven't had time to breathe between cancer and difficult marriage situations, starting a business that's become a megalith, and, then all the things I know, it's all the things that go with marriage and having children, and it's constantly like this.
Okay.
And so there's never been a break in the battles.
No.
Right? And yet what I see, which I think is so gorgeous going on with you right now, such transparency, such vulnerability, and thank you for being willing to share that. But, you're maybe these years, I don't know how long it's been, for the first time really going, okay, I've always said I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. I've always been courageous. I've always felt power. I've always had this huge drive. I've always survived. And now you're starting to look at it and go, oh, I'm fine. And I need to kind of visit that again and rewrite where I'm going next. So I am more vulnerable. I am more transparent about it.
And I think too, like I'm not finished being successful.
Well, I want to ask that question. You didn't dream Maria Me to be what it is today, and it is extraordinary.
Thank you.
That is a beautiful business.
Thank you.
It's unbelievable what you've done.
Thank
you. Your weddings are, they're just beyond. But are you dreaming next?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what's next. I don't know. Like, I have found myself more, I think like 5 years ago, I was like, still just like go, 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 go. I do feel like I have a little bit more of a mentality of like, I'm not finished with it. I still love what I do. I love the connections that I make with people. I love managing a team. I love making an impact in people's lives. And I think I have found a resource to be able to do that. And whether it's, weddings or something else, but like, I love what this job gives me in life. It fills a lot of my buckets, And so I don't know where I'm going with it, but I'm not finished.
So is where you are now, Tom, kids, business, is it enough?
It's enough. But I've now found it is enough, and I'm not surviving anymore.
Wow.
And it's okay. And I can take a deep breath and just enjoy what I do and do it well. I don't have to I don't have like the tiger right behind me. Like, I feel like at any given point, life is just going to like take me down. I don't feel like that tidal wave's there anymore.
I have not heard you say, I'm not surviving anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not in that place. I am still surviving. I still feel like I'm very much on a survival journey. And I think we all are always on a survival journey of some sort or another. But I think what you're saying to me, because I've said it over and over to you, is it's one battle after another. You're in this huge title. You know, it's the name of the movie, Survivorship, kind of. And you're saying, yeah, that's not where I am anymore.
No, I just feel like too, like I'm gonna have a lot more hardships come up. I mean, that's just I'm a proven track record.
Well, I hope not.
I don't go long without something, but you know, I'm not scared of what's to come. I feel like people ask me all the time, like, what's your definition of success? Or like, what is like it's security. It's just like, for the first time, like, I've been able to stop and like turn around and like realize like I've got like it's enough because I'm like secure. Like I do like as long as I'm always in a position to like my perspective matters and like my voice and like my foundation is there. I'm like I've made it. If that makes sense. I'm not having to prove anybody wrong at this point. I feel like there's a lot of years I was trying to prove this teacher wrong. And then I lived and I was supposed to die. So now what am I supposed to do with this life that I've been given? And then I had the whole community against me. And I had to prove myself wrong. And I had to prove my character again. And I had to prove like who I really was. And I just like, I'm finally at a point where I'm like, I don't feel like I have to like prove myself anymore.
You know, you said your definition of success is security. I've talked on the show a lot about what defines our success or how we define our own success, certainly at various times in life, and it changes pretty dramatically. I think you come out of the gate, you know, high school, college, all that stuff going, oh, success is, you know, what car do I drive? What clothes do I wear? What house can I afford? What's my job title? You know, and it's this, you know, material consumption competitiveness that exists so much in our world. And yet you have lived a life of overcoming some of the most extraordinary obstacles and experiences I've honestly ever heard. It's been a hard journey, and you sit here looking so gorgeous and fresh and smiling, and I'm like, how does this all go together? But what does it mean? What does security really mean to you as related to success?
So security for me is kind of a couple different layers of things. Like, yes, security financially is a thing for me because we were so like desperate when we started this business. Like, so money does have a little bit of a like, let me work to build something that can support me.
Sure.
But the definition of success is not wealth for me. Like it's at all. But just having like my world around me, like I know that everything's going to be okay and I'm going to be okay. And a lot of that comes with just like experiencing hard things and knowing that I have the tools that I'm going to be okay. And I can carry myself. Like I've gotten to a place in life that I just feel like I have the tools and I've had the experiences and I have the relationship with my husband that I can get through anything.
And I mean, the other thing you have that on several levels that so few people can say, you're in a 15-year marriage, and I mean, you light up every time his name comes up. You say just the most amazing things about him and your relationship and the two of you as a couple. That doesn't happen very often. But earlier in this talk, you said, you know, I was loving my husband hard as I knew how to love. And you've done everything like that. You've done it as hard as you know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was, you know, the fifth grader studying the notes, when everybody else was doing something fun or you're going to dinner with your family, all the way to you just leaned slam into that marriage and loved it as hard as you could.
Yeah, but people told us that we weren't going to make it. So you had something to overcome. And that was the easiest one to prove wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
That's beautiful. And then you've got these 3 kids. You've done the same thing. You've built this braided together family. And there have been some big obstacles in that too. And look where you sit.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like all the people that tried to pull me down, little did they know, they just fueled my fire every day.
You are fiery. A lot of people tune into this, listen, watch, whatever, because everybody has pain, a lot of pain, and everybody's journey. I don't think everybody's pain to them feels like it's the biggest pain, and it is in that life. And I think so many people are just feel like they're just gutting it out in a survival journey. You've given us a lot of tools through all of this, but can you encapsulate some of your survival tools?
Yeah, I would love to actually.
Okay.
So I really think the first is, what is the story you're telling yourself? There's a story in my head that I realized I had been lying to myself this whole time. And it's, I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not pretty enough. I wasn't given those cards. Like, that was the story, like, I told myself the whole time. And then, all of a sudden I'm like, okay, well, I'm sitting here in this business and I'm not smart enough to have this, or I'm not, but then I'm like, but yes, I am. I built this all by myself. And then starting to really evaluate that story that I've told myself this whole time. And like, I even got to a point where I was like, I'm not even the business anymore. Like, the business, which it is, I mean, it's a very solid, I have an amazing team of people. I've done a really good job of hiring amazing people. And, there was a point where I was like, well, I'm not even, like, I don't really even bring anything to the business anymore. And Tom said, I think you need to stop and reevaluate what you're telling yourself. And then, like, the story of shame that I've dealt with for 15 years, like, haunted me every single day. But then, like, when I had the help of, like, seeing the truth and telling the truth, and honestly, it was when we sat our child down and, like, told her the whole, like, how we met and all the things, and being able to be truthful, I was like, wait, the whole story I've been telling myself this whole time wasn't even the truth. And so I had made up that people, like, you make up the story. And so I just find that, like, I feel like you need to really evaluate, what is the story you're telling yourself every day? And is it words of encouragement? Is it words of love? Because, like, I love people really, really hard. Why am I not loving myself? Why am I so hard on myself? Who am I trying to prove? Am I trying to prove myself for myself? So that story, I think, is something that, like, I didn't realize how much the self-talk, how important that is.
Absolutely.
And, like, loving yourself for the bad decisions you've made, but knowing that you're not a bad person.
Giving yourself some grace.
Yeah, like, I give so much grace to everyone around me. Why do I not give it to myself? And then anxiety with the world we live in. I mean, name me one person that doesn't deal with anxiety. I mean, whether it be a stressful situation but having the fear and the courage to go through it and keep, like, knowing the difference between, like, when to put on the brakes because it's scary and it may be wrong, like your gut is telling you don't go down that road, and when is this just fear that you need to just keep going. And, like, I've really learned how to drive with 2 feet, and that's been a tremendous help for me. It's just kind of identifying what is a real fear and what is just a little anxiety, and how can I make this anxiety work for me. And so, like, when you have anxious moments or situations that make you feel scared or insecure or anxious, I use the anxiety as like a carrier pigeon. And, like, it's a warning sign of, hey, recognize that this is an anxiety. Take a deep breath. map out how you're going to overcome this and how are you going to work through it. Because I think a lot of people are paralyzed by that fear.
Absolutely.
And that anxiety. And there's so much good on the other side. And I'm proof of that. And I've seen that happen over and over again in my life, whether it be like different phases of life or every day. Like there's so much good on the other side of that fear if you just can continue to push forward. Sometimes you have to let your foot off the gas a little bit, but if you can keep going through, there's usually really good on the other side.
Love that. Thank you.
Those are my tools.
Those are big ones. I know this is the harder side because it's easy to tell the things that are negative. It's harder to really be honest about the positives. But so what is the story you're telling yourself now? You turned the page like I talked about.
I have a gift of my emotional intelligence and like my gut is what drives like all of my decisions. I don't have to read the chapter book. I didn't have to go to business school. What I've built this business on and what I run my life on and manage my people and manage my family is all on emotional connection and managing people and making them feel empowered. And that's not something you learn in school. And I have a real gift with that. And I'm really proud of what I've built on that. And you know what? You can hire people to proofread.
I agree.
But you can't hire people to care about other people.
Gosh, I'm so proud of what you've done, Neillie.
Thank you.
With your whole life. Not just, yes, your success in business is extraordinary, but you've built a whole strong life, a strong marriage, strong kids, strong business, strong spirit life. I'm really proud of you.
I am too.
Good. And can I just make an observation? This is something that's heavy on my heart right now, and it's a way I'm turning the lens back on my own life. But I think without you realizing it, what I see you doing, like doing this show and being so willing to just open your life up, you're turning the struggles, you're turning all the battles, you're turning the success around, and you're pushing it back out into the world. And what you're doing is a huge service. I think it was Martin Luther King who said, everybody can't be famous, but everybody can be great because your greatness is determined by your service. And I see you doing that without dreaming into it, without saying, this is what I'm going to do. The very fact that you come and you've just been heart wide open. I want to tell you about my life because somebody else might get some courage from it.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in what was the purpose of all this heartache? If it's not gonna, what was the purpose? You can be mad at God for dragging you through this. Why did I have to meet my husband this way? Why didn't I get a fairy tale? Why didn't he propose to me on the tip top of a mountain in Aspen and I have some Miami wedding? Why you can live like that? But what was the purpose of all of this? If I don't, I feel that's why I'm always I'm going to be an open book, because if it helps one person, then I felt like it's all was worth it.
I feel the same way. But I have to go back to, for the longest time, 15 years, you're creating amazing fantasies and fairy tales and making people's dreams come true and giving them, not only memories, but the most beautiful photography to see for the rest of their lives. And you did not get any piece of what you've put together for hundreds of people. But then there was a day, not so long ago, on your 15th anniversary,
Yes.
that
I had to get engaged.
you got engaged all over again.
It's so corny.
And you talked so sweetly about what motivated that for you.
It was just we got married in such a traumatic time because we knew we were supposed to, and we knew that our life together was meant to be, and that we make a great couple, and we're going to make a great team for these children, and we're going to make a great team for our coworkers, and we're just meant to be. But it was traumatic. And so then after 10 years of being married to this man and still madly in love with him, every single day,
Which I love.
Madly in love with him. He's perfect in every way. I was like, you never proposed to me. And I do this for a living, and it's not even because I do it for a living, but I was like, would you marry me again? And so I joked with him, like, I'm going to make you renew your vows because, like, would you marry me now? And he's always like, you're crazy. And he was like, I do not want to, he did not want to renew his vows. And I was like, but you never proposed. We used, like, the money we had from, like, a tax return to buy a ring that was beautiful, and I loved it. But, like, it wasn't like a fun experience, you know? And so I had put a lot of power in this ring because I was like, every time I looked at it, like, kind of reminded me of just like what I had to overcome, you know? And so I was like, I'm kind of like, I'd like a new ring maybe. Or like
I absolutely would like a new
absolutely would like a new ring.
not a baby.
And it's, my therapist is like, you put way too much power in this piece of metal. But it wasn't the ring. It was really, I just kind of wanted to be caught off guard. I don't know. I just wanted it. And so he proposed on my 15th anniversary in our bathroom. It was so romantic. On the way to work.
And you got to be.
And I lived happily ever after.
Thank you, Neillie. This has been an absolute delight. And you were a gift.
Thank you.
You give me courage. You give me power. You lift me up by your story and how you've handled it. I cannot wait to see what you're going to do next. Truly. Can you just call me and say, hey, Teresa, guess what I'm doing now?
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
Loved having you.
Yeah.